Look at that.
Thank you. Hi, everybody. Welcome. All right, we'll just give one more minute and then we will start with Chris. Thank you all for coming. All right, Chris, what do you think? You want to start?
Yeah, let's do it. Well, everybody, thank you for coming. This is our third virtual community night for VVM. And just like a lot of startups and a lot of the mentors who are here tonight, we've had to do a pivot. And part of that is adjusting the format for our community nights. And last week we were, last month we were fortunate, for those of you who weren't here, we were able to host 3 VVM alumni companies who updated us on their progress and how they're managing through the pandemic. We received a lot of positive feedback and wanted to continue with a similar format, but obviously addressing much different content. So first of all, we want to say thanks to everyone who could be here tonight instead of our typical Wednesday night, but it was very important for both Hope and myself to not schedule anything for tomorrow in observance of Veterans Day. So this month, we wanted to honor our veterans with a special keynote speaker. And then we want to engage a few local craft breweries in a roundtable discussion. So as always, please feel free to provide us with feedback and or give us ideas for next month's community night. And finally, a special thank you to Scott Foster and his partners at Bulkley Richardson for sponsoring tonight's program. So with that, I will pass it over to Hope so she can provide you details on this evening's activities.
Thank you, Chris. So tonight we have this introduction and welcome. I just wanted to go through a quick updates that we have from VVM, and then we'll have our keynote speaker, Rusty Varela from the SBA, and then our panel with some time at the end for Q&A, and then a quick closing. So if you are already all here, so we appreciate you so much. You're already likely in the VVM world, but if you are new to us, we are looking for always new guest specialists and industry experts to become VVM mentors. So whether you're an accountant, tax specialist, you're into manufacturing or marketing, everybody has a place, and anybody who can support entrepreneurs. So if you fall into any of these categories or just love helping grow startups and small businesses, then please feel free to reach out to us. We have been hosting our monthly community night, and the Entrepreneurial Roundtable is a weekly meetup for entrepreneurs that we normally host at this time from 5 to 6 on Tuesdays every week. It's a peer-led group, so you're welcome to come to that as well. It's for entrepreneurs of all stages and all industries. We also encourage mentors to host office hours in their areas of expertise or workshops. If you have any questions on this, please feel free to reach out. My contact information is there as well. Don't forget to sign up for next month's community night, and you can also sign up for the Entrepreneurial Roundtable. Later on, I will put the link to this slide deck in the chat, and all these hyperlinks work. So you'll be able to click them and sign up for anything that you'd like. Just a really exciting new possibility and option this holiday season. We wanted to support local businesses, so we're teaming up with Living Local to create this virtual holiday pop-up shop. So there is a really amazing and easy business sign-up form that you can click, fill out all the information, and then populates a participating business list so that you can do all of your holiday shopping local. And we just wanted to support small businesses. So if you have any questions, again, feel free to reach out. But please take advantage of this opportunity and make sure to tell all of your Western Mass local businesses to participate as well. And with that, I'm going to pass it over to our keynote speaker, Oresti Varela, the Springfield branch manager of the U.S. Small Business Administration. Thank you, Oresti. I'm going to stop my share and allow you to share your screen. Oh, wait, you're on mute.
Thanks, Hope. Thanks, Chris and VVM for having me tonight. Appreciate the invitation and opportunity to speak just a few minutes on what SBA does, how we can help entrepreneurs. I've been with SBA now for 8 years. We have 2 offices, one in Springfield, one in Boston. So we got 13 people in Boston and one in Springfield, and you're looking at them. So I cover the 4 counties of Western Mass. We're a really small agency if you didn't know. Anyway, we exist. We've been around for over 60 years to help businesses start, grow, and especially recover. And we're going to cover just a few things tonight. We're going to whip through it. I got 12 slides in 10 minutes. So I'm going to talk fast. I'm from New Jersey. I can handle it. So anyway, does anyone know what these companies have in common? Now, for the sake of time, I'm just going to let you know. They all received some type of assistance from SBA, whether it was some type of counseling, some type of capital. So they all received assistance from SBA. These are all billion-dollar companies. Last time I checked, folks, could be you if you let us help. So I know Hope and I, when we talked a little bit, we wanted to talk focus on resources that can help you. And I believe almost all of these organizations have worked with VVM over the years. And the first one I want to cover is SCORE. SCORE is a national nonprofit organization. They provide free counseling, one-on-one counseling, mentoring. They consist of the mentors are all volunteers. Nobody gets paid. They have some type of industry experience or have run businesses. They have an office in Springfield. Now, all of our partners, myself included, we're all virtual right now. No one's going to any offices until further notice. What I would urge you all to do when you see these websites, westernmassachusetts.score.org, go there, get on their newsletter, see the type of classes that they're offering. They're all free. And if you want the one-on-one mentoring, you can sign up for that also. All of our organizations do this kind of thing. The Small Business Development Center, there's 2 offices in Western Mass, one in Springfield, one in Pittsfield. And again, one-on-one counseling. There's some redundancy between our resource partners, but sometimes variety is the spice of life, as they say. So that's a good thing. And one of the things the Small Business Development Center is particularly adept at is loan preparation. So if you're looking for a small business loan, you definitely want to work with the Small Business Development Center. They'll review your finances. They'll review the loan paperwork before you go to the bank, and they'll make recommendations as to different banks that they think might do that deal. The Center for Women in Enterprise is an organization that was founded by business women to assist women in business. They don't exclude men. They don't have a physical presence, as you can see here in Western Mass, but they do have a counselor who I'm hearing background noise. They do have someone who covers Western Mass. So it's just another organization. Check out their website. And for our veterans tonight, thank you to all our veterans who have served and are serving. Appreciate your service to our country. We have a resource partner just for you. Veterans Business Outreach Center is an organization that that's a partner with SBA that strictly works with veterans and or their spouses. And then you can see Jenny Murphy, she's local, and she covers, she covers all of New England. She's a busy young lady. So that's our 4 resource partners. And if you take anything away today, it would be to work with our resource partners. Any aspect of your business you want to work with them, it's free. Let's say you're looking for a loan. Let's say you did work with the Small Business Development Center and they say you're ready. Well, we have an online referral portal, a free portal, SBA.gov Lender Match. You describe your needs, and then you hit enter basically. And within 2 business days, you're either going to get an email or many emails from lenders saying, hey, we're interested to talk, or you're going to get an email saying, yeah, no one's interested. No, it's not so good. But so it's a great way to shop around for a loan without, leaving your computer. And basically, it's just going to connect you with lenders. It's not an application for a loan. That would come later. You just connect with lenders, talk about your business plan, what you're trying to do with your business. So it's an awesome tool. And again, I know this is a whirlwind, but federal contracting, I know we're brewers here. It's a lot of brewers here tonight, so maybe not so much opportunities for federal contracting, but the federal government buys goods and services, $500 billion a year all across the country. There's opportunities there. We have 2 specialists in our Boston office. This is all they do all day, every day. It's kind of tedious to get involved in this, but so federal contracting is an opportunity. If you have a product and you're looking to export it overseas, we have experts in exporting. We have our export center. Julia DeVorco covers Central and Western Massachusetts. These people are fantastic. They know the markets. They know the laws. They will connect you with contacts overseas that will help you move your product, sell your product. So that's the export. Only a couple more slides. Disaster, and basically the focus is on COVID. So everyone heard in the news about Paycheck Protection Program and the Economic Injury Disaster Loan and grants. The grants have closed, but you can still, if you are in business and you are still struggling, you can apply for the Economic Injury Disaster Loan at sba.gov/disaster. That is still available. It's a 30-year loan, 3.75% interest rate. And just so you know, between the PPP, economic injury loans and grants, Massachusetts, just Massachusetts alone, small businesses, 274,000 small businesses in Massachusetts received $18 billion through these programs. So whatever you hear on TV, and the majority of them, over 80%, were less than $100,000. These are small businesses, not those big giant businesses that you hear about on TV and whatever. So that was a world. Oh, no worries. So my contact information is here. One of the things I would also urge you to do is go to sba.gov/updates, and you will be on our monthly newsletter, which has been coming out like 4 times a month these days. So you'll learn about our resource partners. You'll learn about the different events that we're hosting. So anyway, so that's, and then the last thing I wanted to mention because of the brewing theme tonight, I have a quick story. So I went to visit Berkshire Brewing a few years ago to do a success story, and they worked with our local Small Business Development Center, Alan Cronick, the counselor there, and also with a New England certified as a certified development company that administrates a 504 loan. So they were bottling their beer by hand in the early years, like 3,000 gallons a year. And they built a facility and put a canning machine, whatever you call them, inside the facility with the assistance of SBA with the 504 loan. And they went from that 3,000 gallons a year to over 600,000 gallons a year, Berkshire Brewing. So anyway, that was my quick brewing story to wrap it up. Was that fast enough, Hope?
I think you still have some time. That was incredible.
Oh, okay. So let me stop sharing. Does anybody, I know, like I said, that was fast. Anybody have any questions before we hand it over to our panel?
Orestes, is it okay if I share the slides in the chat?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
So anyway, and I'll put in my email again in the right here in the chat, and my local phone, my phone number. So if anyone does want to reach out and talk to me, or they have questions now or anytime in the future, feel free to do so. So again, thanks for the opportunity. Yes, Chris, you got something?
Yeah, I was just going to say, and likewise, if people are thinking that they need access to Arrest Day and they, for whatever reason, don't have his either LinkedIn profile or email address, you can certainly get in touch with him through us. So we want to work closely with entrepreneurs and find whatever is the most appropriate funding sources for them. So just make sure that you keep that in mind when you're looking.
Thank you very much. That was wonderful.
Thank you.
All right. Okay, so I'm going to pull back up my slides. Thank you. Sorry. I'm just going to wait because I think that will take not a little bit too much time. So we have Katie Stinchen from the Mass Brewers Guild, who is going to be moderating our panel. We have an excellent panel of 3 local craft breweries. We have Aaron Saunders from Loophole Brewing. We have Mark Avery from 2 Weeks Notice, and Ray Berry from White Lion Brewing. And I'm very excited to have you all here. Thank you so much for being a part of this. I will, in the slides, there's all of the information as well for them, but I think I'm going to pass it over to Katie.
Hey everyone, can you hear me? Great. Thank you guys so much for including me as part of tonight's panel. I'm honored to be with you, and sounds like you guys do some really great work over at VVM. So I'm Katie Stinchen. I'm the executive director of the Massachusetts Brewers Guild. I have the best damn job in the world, and I'm really fortunate to be able to do what I do every day, which is to protect and promote the craft breweries across the Commonwealth, and to also have with me 3 of our members from the Western Mass area. So I guess I'll just have you guys, Ray and Mark and Aaron, I'll have you go ahead and introduce yourselves, your breweries, and share a little bit about yourselves with everyone. So Ray, why don't we start with you?
Thank you, Katie. Thank you, Hope and Chris as well for putting this on. White Lion is a graduate of the Valley Venture Mentor Accelerator Program. So it's great to continue the conversation with them. They are part of the White Lion fabric, and it's good to see a number of familiar faces through our journey, going through a number of countless hours and meetings over at VVM. So I just want to give kudos to them. White Lion Brewing, Springfield, Massachusetts, first craft beer brand to recognize the city of Springfield as its home. We've been very fortunate enough over the years to have a lot of community support. We've gone from a beer brand, which contract brewed in various locations in the Commonwealth, to finally bring brick and mortar to downtown Springfield. And we're now officially brewing from downtown. And we'll do a series of pop-up can-to-go events as time goes on before we complete our kitchen. We're looking forward to announcing our food partner in the next week or so. Folks will be very surprised on who that will be. So we're just trying to be another piece of the ever-evolving Renaissance puzzle in Springfield, allowing folks to bounce around and visit various destinations. And we're happy to be that extra layer. So thank you for having us.
Great. Mark?
There you go. Thank you guys for having me again. Appreciate it. Katie, it's great to actually put a face to all the emails I get from you weekly, which is great. All informative as well. So thanks for everything you guys do. And thanks again for having me here. So Mark Avery, head brewer, co-founder of 2 Weeks Notice Brewing in West Springfield, Massachusetts. We have been open for coming up on, it will be 2 years in May for the tap room, but we originally started selling cans right out of the front of our building in December of 2018 as we built out the full tap room, which has evolved obviously throughout everything that has been going on, and most recently just added a smaller kitchen to our tap room. kind of help with everything that is going on with COVID and just kind of keep us going forward. But it's a wonderful area out in this. I'm not originally from the Western Mass area. I've only been here for about 10 years, but the people like you guys and all the other breweries and everybody within the industry are fully supportive, especially obviously with everything that's going on in the last, whatever it is, 8 months now. I feel very fortunate to be out in this area and to be working with a lot of people like you guys, and hopefully we just keep moving forward. And thanks for having us.
Great. Aaron?
Katie, thanks VVM for having us, and everyone who's here tonight. It's an outstanding turnout. So Loophole Brewing Services is a beer brand in Western Massachusetts, which we started contract brewing. Ray was before they got up and going with bricks and mortar. But the vision for Loophole is to support our region's craft brewers by both lowering the barrier to entry for folks who are interested in getting into brewing who may not have access to traditional capital or may want to figure out what their product does in the competitive marketplace before putting all of the capital that's necessary to get started, as well as supporting established breweries who are looking to scale up. I imagine we may get a question or two about COVID and this being a unique time for the industry generally. We hope to be at that spot to be able to assist established breweries to scale their operations to meet demand without necessarily having to bite off more than they can chew in terms of a capital investment and debt. Hopefully be in the spot that Ray's in, talking about opening up and having people in our own building sooner than later.
Awesome. All right, let's get into some questions. Ray, I'm gonna pick on you first. First, what are you drinking?
I have our new release. It's a double IPA called Lions Galaxy, or the Double Lions Galaxy, with a little bit of Citra, Mosaic, and Galaxy hops. It's a nice, juicy New England IPA.
Beautiful. Need to get some of that. So you guys made your decision to open up as a brand first without a brick and mortar location and really focus on off-premise sales versus on-premise sales. What went into that decision?
I was very appreciative and aware of a lot of the creativity that was going on in the craft beer space. But I did not come from the craft beer space. My career started in nonprofit and quasi-public. And my first job was business development. And I knew that the city of Springfield, which was the third largest city in the Commonwealth, didn't have much craft beer conversation going on, despite all of the outlying towns and cities having that conversation. And I felt that if I put the framework in place, that we can at least start the conversation locally. But again, I didn't know how to move that forward. And it was actually a friend of mine, a local attorney, who did a little research on my behalf, unbeknownst to me, that said, you know, if you look at it, you can look at it from a brick and mortar lens, or you can look at it from a building a brand lens, where you build the brand, engage the community, and see where that takes you. Obviously, there's not as much outlay relative to that. So that's the approach that we took. We built the brand. We wanted to build a solid brand, something that can resonate. And we've been fortunate enough to be able to take that brand, ingrain it in various community activity in the community throughout the Commonwealth, and eventually bring that full circle to brick and mortar.
And you guys also opened up your own distribution company, is that right?
Yeah, so when we launched, we were new. And again, very appreciative of the distributors out there that worked with us. But we were the baby of their big bunch. And, you know, I come from the lens of engagement, fostering relationships, building upon those relationships. And sometimes when you're the baby of the bunch, you're not able to transfer that conversation to the masses or to those accounts that they represent. So it got to a point where we worked with them and they allowed us to do what we wanted to do. And we went out on our own. We started to do our own brand and then came full circle and now have several brands that we work with. They don't work under us. We work with them direct. We're equal on the same level, same playing field. And we hope that within the Western Mass and other jurisdictions within the Commonwealth, that we'll be able to allow their brands to grow and we all grow together.
That's awesome. Definitely not a small feat to take on a
Thank you.
distro and be in all the tiers. So kudos to you for wanting to own, you know, your own brand and have all the control there, because it's so important. It's so
Thank
important.
you so much. Yeah, thank you.
Mark,
Yes.
what are you drinking?
I am drinking our Full Nelson, which is a Nelson Citra New England style IPA. You can see a theme here tonight, I think. And yeah, so it's one of the IPAs that we kind of played with just to have on tap in the tap room for a while, and then it got such a great response that we decided to start canning it, and it's cool. It's turned into one of our top IPAs, which is great.
Is there a particular style that you guys try to focus on or dabble in?
We do a lot of New England IPAs, but with the tap room, I try to keep a variety of styles of beer on tap. So we do a lot. You know, we run the gamut. You know, we have a porter on right now. We have stouts coming, you know, down the pipeline, sours, kettle sours, things like that, pilsners, lagers. So we kind of try to do everything to kind of help everybody out who maybe just doesn't like IPAs. But we definitely have a more heavier focus on more hop forward IPAs.
Right on. So COVID hit, threw everyone's business plan into disarray. What are some of the biggest challenges that you're dealing with right now, and how are you preparing for the eventual onset of winter? Cue the Game of Thrones soundtrack.
Winter is coming. Yeah. So we originally, like you said, it kind of threw a wrench in everything because you know, leading up to the original shutdown in March, we were cranking, and to the point where we were looking at a larger system, and it was just nuts. Couldn't keep up, and then obviously that happened. So luckily, the property that we have, or the building we have kind of like a side alley on the side of the building. So we were able to do drive-through can sales to kind of start. Which helped, I think, a lot of people, just because it was basically non-touch can sales. So, and we would drop the cases right in the back of the car, you know, so no touch kind of can sales, which helped out a lot, especially at the beginning with everything on the rise. And then kind of slowly as that number started coming down, and then the governor came out with obviously ways to start opening up businesses back again. We then just kind of had to pivot again. And originally we obviously, I guess, first phase, I guess, I don't even remember at this point, but we had most of our seating was in our front parking lot because everything had to be outside. It was just outdoor seating. So we had to do that. Luckily we had that. We also had a patio, which was basically where the drive-through was as well. So so we had kind of two outdoor seating areas, which helped us out a little bit. And it was still a little bit, I think people were still a little hesitant at first. It also didn't help that it was at the end of May and June, and it started to be like 80 degrees at noontime. So it's tough to drink beer outside when it's that hot. Luckily, we kicked into the next phase, which obviously was you could have indoor seating, which when we knew that was going to happen, we looked into getting better tables and seating that was easier to sanitize and clean for the staff, which makes it a lot easier for patrons as well to feel safer. So more investment in that as well. And so we kind of got through that. And then obviously then there was the whole thing with, while this was going on, we were already thinking about installing a kitchen anyway, just because we were always doing food trucks prior to shutdown, and it was just kind of a grind, always trying to book a food truck every day you're open. So we had kind of a smaller space in the tap room that wasn't really getting used much. So we we kind of just put in a small prep kitchen, and luckily it worked out for the best, obviously, because we were able to open a little sooner than I think a lot of breweries, obviously, that had to have food. Once that kind of part 2 of phase 2 came in, we were almost good to go because we had the food ready to rock. So yeah, and then that, we kind of put that through, and that helped out a lot. And I think ultimately, there's still people who are hesitant because obviously sales aren't what they were, obviously, because you're not at full capacity, which we understand that too. So we're kind of in the process now of, in the back of our minds, are thinking about, like you said, winter's coming through. We're going to be losing our patio seating, which obviously we want to supplement. So we're probably going to go back to doing a drive-through, as well as still having indoor seating for people who do want to come in. So kind of supplement it that way, and then just kind of continuing, doing what we have to do, and constantly, it seems like you're constantly trying to shuffle and adapt to what you have to do, to kind of keep the doors open. Yep. And that's really that's all we can do right now, because we don't really know, there's no real sign of when this will go away or when we'll go back to normal. So it's just a matter of, keeping your head on a swivel and having to adapt as quickly as possible.
You're definitely lucky that you had the kitchen component in the works, because that was obviously a major, meeting the food requirements for our breweries was very challenging, and there's only so many food trucks that can go around.
Exactly.
So,
you
got lucky in that regard, for sure.
Yeah, stuff seems to be working out, and obviously with the smaller, obviously everybody had to have a bite of food, so we worked with the kitchen to have them kind of do like a smaller menu where people didn't have to spend, $10 for whatever it is, a sandwich. They can just get a bowl of chili, and that kind of works out for everybody, and they can sit down and have beers and enjoy.
Right on. Aaron, what are you drinking?
Moving through Kashmir. I guess I'm rounding it out. It's New England IPA, comes at about 7.5, which means it's a good thing this is not a 4-hour program. Otherwise, it would be an interesting last question. But our head brewer, John Geraci, has just been awesome and kind of putting together our first few offerings. And I don't want to go any further without saying, both Ray and Mark personally, they've been awesome to us in our infancy, and just really blown away by how the camaraderie and how inviting the craft beer scene in Western Mass is, and it's spreading the wealth, especially in a time where things are tough, no doubt about it.
Yeah, for sure. So I know you guys have been on the hunt for a home base for a while. What made you guys choose Springfield?
So Western Mass, it has such a wealth of outstanding craft breweries, and Ray and Mark are, here tonight, and they're like certainly top of the list, but you could have another 10 of them here that you'd pick those beers over just about any other wherever you are. And, both with Jeff Goulet, who's, affectionately known out here as Hefe, has run the Worthy Brew Fest for years and years, and Todd Stopkowski, our partners in Loophole, who's made a living out of sort of training folks in culinary and placing them in not only jobs but careers. We saw Western Mass as an opportunity to help grow the craft beer scene across the board, because the needs that are the big lifts, the expansions, the relocations, that takes a lot of money and it takes a lot of time. And if we could be helpful in being able to allow breweries to scale and test before they take that step, we wanted to be part of that solution, so that when that brewery is ready to take that next step, they're doing so confidently. Their financing partners see the concept proven out in numbers, and it's not just speculation.
Have you made any adjustments to your business plan in light of COVID, like thinking ahead of consumers in the 2020 world and beyond?
So we flipped it around. We had a beer we put out, made the Road Rise Speed, was a collaboration with this awesome brewery in Northern Ireland in County Tyrone, Barons Court Brewing. And we had this whole thing where we rolled it out. It was St. Patrick's Day week, and we had a building lined up, and we had a bank lined up, and then COVID hit. And just like that, it was like, all right, what do we do? And we had a really an outstanding team of folks who sat down and said, the only choice is to move forward. And how do we do that? And in that time, we took the benefit we had of not having a home at the time, which is, we didn't have the overhead, we didn't have the debt service obligations, and we were able to partner with a couple of contract breweries, effectively putting ourselves in what we hope to be our future customers' shoes, and grow our brand to now over 600 accounts, mostly off-premise due to COVID, but a growing number of on-premise throughout Western Massachusetts, Southeastern Massachusetts, Rhode Island, and we're looking forward to Connecticut in the near future. And Ray had mentioned in the opening, the idea of building that brand and being in a position where we have a brand to support Loophole moving in as we really look to grow our core business of supporting craft brewers through small batch contract brewing and aspiring brewer support.
That's great. So one of the things that I was most heartened by during the shutdown was seeing how creative and inventive all of our breweries got with working with other businesses within their communities. Partnering with farmers to do CSA share pickups, local artisans and restaurants. I'm wondering if there were any great partnerships or businesses alignments that you were able to form during this time or enhance during this time that really kind of strengthened your business. Ray, anything that pops into mind for you?
Yes, absolutely. I think the advocacy of the Brewers Guild and the release of some bandwidth restrictions from the ABCC allowed us, as many other brewers, to pivot and do that door-to-door delivery component. We partnered with a local establishment called Hot Oven Cookies, where we would buy some product from them in this difficult time. And, when we did those door-to-door deliveries, we would ensure that food aspect was aligned with the beer, and gave them an extra layer of attention and awareness. The cookies are delicious. So hopefully we found some new customers for them. And it's just part of that alignment and trying to help each other out, lift everyone up, and move forward. So we had that. And then there was the whole George Floyd incident and the Black is Beautiful campaign. And we're very fortunate enough to partner and collaborate with Trillium Brewing that brought attention to social justice and some of the systemic issues that are within our country. So that was, again, just showing unification, to Aaron's point, just the unification and the camaraderie within a trade that is from corner to corner within the Commonwealth and corner to corner within the United States. So, little things like that allow, small businesses to move forward. And I'm sure Mark will speak to his drive-through, which I thought was probably one of the more creative aspects of accommodating his local customers. So we all did our own little thing and played our own little part to keep the customers engaged and obviously keep our business moving forward.
Yeah.
Mark, do you have anything to add to that?
Yeah, like he mentioned, and we did the All Together beer, Ray. Come on.
No, that's right, my friend. I'm sorry. You're 100% correct. Thank you for, yes, my bad.
No, it's all good. Yeah, so one of the things we did was, because we did a couple things. One was from us and one was like our patrons, which was really cool. And Chris was actually a part of this as well. But to start off, we did coasters that basically if you bought whatever it was, I think it was like maybe like 2 or 3 4-packs, you would get a coaster that was good for 1 pour once the tap room opened, which was great. And people are still cashing them in, which is awesome. And then another thing was, and it was not even, we didn't even push it. It was a lot of patrons that would drive through the drive-through would would put money towards first responders. So if a first responder, so somebody like Chris Bignell would come through the drive-through, he would buy his 4-pack and then give $100 to us and say, make sure that this goes to every, first responder that comes through the line or whatever it might be. So the next day we would then post and say, hey, if the person wanted to give us their name or a picture or whatever, we would say, hey, this person, donated $100, and, for the first, obviously once the $100 was gone, but, every first responder that comes through gets a free 4-pack. So, they would show IDs and things like that. So that was something that was really cool. And that, honestly, that was, if the biggest takeaway for me through everything, through the drive-through was, I don't know, people helping out as much as they could. I would see people come through our drive-through that went to, Skyline, which is in Westfield. They would have gone to, I don't know, anybody else in the area, Tin Bridge, and then they would come to us. You could see it in the back of their car. They'd have several different 4-packs or cans. And that was one of the things that absolutely blew me away, was people really trying to help out small businesses as much as they could through these hard times.
Yeah, our passport program, our mobile passport program, just to give it a plug, Mass Craft Beer, we still had about 50 or so people visit 100 breweries, this year. And they get the Beer Trail Commander status, but it was just really cool to see that even though they couldn't sit at that brewery and have a beer, they were willing to drive around and pick up beer, and then they would check in and get their stamp that way. So, mad love for all of our amazing craft beer fans here in Massachusetts, for sure. We love you right back, and we're grateful. So Aaron, what tools, technologies, apps have you guys been using to keep your team together, keep your projects going while you're all trying to social distance and open a brewery and yada, yada, yada at the same time?
So, being somewhat an orphan brewery right now, we have always relied on needing to stay together without having a space to report to every morning. So, whether it's, we love Zoom and free conference call, in a way, we were already used to that, being our method of staying in touch on a pretty regular basis. Our contract partners and our distribution partners, everyone adjusted, but it didn't seem like such a heavy lift for those folks to not miss a beat as we continue to produce, continue to distribute. But in terms of the folks that, who are drinking all this great beer from Western Mass, still blown away by how active and important social media is. I'm aging out very quickly of knowing what young people think, and it's been a lesson, I think, for our team in understanding that you need to be able to communicate to people where they are. I could throw 100 Facebook updates a day. That's going to hit a certain number of our customers, but we need to be active everywhere that craft beer drinkers are. And we also need to be active in spots where people, quite frankly, ought to be drinking craft beer, who would see some value in it, who maybe not aren't right now. We need to get to them too. And if there's a silver lining to this otherwise dark cloud of COVID, it's really put a fine point on how we target our marketing to make sure we're reaching our customers and we're reaching our prospective customers.
Yeah, silver linings. That's always a nice thing to try to think about. Ray, do you have a silver lining for this horrible 2020 that we've had with COVID? Is there anything that you can pull out?
No, I just think that as people, we're resilient, and there's really nothing that can hold us back. We may, stumble along the way and pick ourselves up and brush ourselves off, but as a collective, there's really nothing that can hold us back. So yeah, we're all going through these trying times. and it's not, or it hasn't been easy. There have been a number of hiccups along the way, but 2020 is only one. It's a microcosm of bigger things, and we'll push through this. And 2021 is on the horizon, and hopefully that will part the clouds, and everyone will be able to exhale and move on their way and be better off. I mean, think about it. If we're able to get through this trying time and see the light on the other side of the tunnel, it's only going to be so much brighter for all of us, whether it's the hospitality industry, private enterprise, public enterprise, whatever it may be. It's just going to be much greater for everyone. So we're just all going to push through.
Mark, what's your silver lining?
It's right along like with what Ray said. It's pretty spot on with what he said. If we can get through something like this, it's, nothing can really hold us back collectively. But I mean, like, I don't know. For me, it was just everybody, fellow breweries reaching out to each other when everything hit and just checking on each other, not just business wise, but mentally. Like, I can't tell you how many text messages I got from friends in the industry that said, "Hey man, how you doing today? How's things going?" And vice versa. I would send things like that. And to me, that's what the best part of this whole industry is everybody's always looking out for each other. I haven't met anybody in the industry yet that has tried to do anything maliciously to anybody. It's just, and this situation, although a horrible situation for everybody, made me kind of see that, people's hearts are in the right place for sure.
It's definitely my favorite part about the beer family is that while we're all inherently in competition with each other,
Right.
I've never met a brewer that wouldn't go out of their way to, lend ingredients, lend some lids, lend some cans, so it's an awesome thing.
Mhm.
And Hope, I'm being cognizant of time, my time master. Do we want to open it up for Q&A or want to keep going? Where are we at?
Well, we've got some time. I know we had one question that got put in the chat, but if people have other questions, feel free to pop them into the chat. And so the question was from Ezra Blue. Ezra, do you want to come off and ask your question? And if other people have questions, feel free to put them in the chat.
Yeah, thank you so much, Hope. So my biggest thing is I'm from Nah Brews, which is works with non-alcoholic beers in the industry that's growing right now. I just want to know, what are your viewpoints on non-alcoholic beers? Because it's a very kind of new territory a lot of people don't really know about, or they're not trying to get into yet.
If I can, if that's okay.
Go for it.
First of all, Ezra, congratulations on your endeavor and what you're about to accomplish.
Thank you.
For folks that are paying attention to the trade, non-alcoholic is the next lineup. There's been a lot of conversation and talk about the seltzer game, but in my point of view, NA is the next coming. So much so that I've heard a lot about what you're doing, Ezra. So I'm
Thank
just
you.
sitting here like gloating, like, okay, this guy is really on to something. But White Lion is seriously looking at that component. We are very hesitant to get into the seltzer arena, but we will be very soon, probably within the next week or so, releasing our first non-alcoholic beer in 12-ounce package. So this viewing audience is the first to hear about that. Again, another shout out to VVM. So, I mean, that's where it started originally. So now the non-alcoholic conversation for White Lion is starting. But so I look forward to seeing what you can do, Ezra. Obviously, the future is bright. And I think that a number of breweries will be looking at that. It's a little different than the seltzer game. It's a little bit of a different process. You have to extract, and then it's just, it's above my pay grade. So I'll deal with the experts to work through that. But I think there's a number of consumers out there that will appreciate a good quality taste, knowing that there's not that that effect on the other side of the spectrum. So I look forward to tasting your beers, Edgar. So congratulations, buddy.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing I'd add is it's one of the most beautiful things about craft beer is, think back 10 or 15 years where if you got your hands on a heady topper, that was like the beginnings of the hazy New England IPAs. And look at how craft beer has grown and how all of these new craft breweries have pushed the envelope in every which way, where now you can have a sour raspberry tart milkshake. And these things are phenomenal. They're beer tastes we never, I think, could conceive of only a short while ago. And NA as being something that's high quality, curated, is right there. It's another one of these frontiers that I would guess is not as accessible had craft beer been in the place that it was at in the 70s, 80s, and 90s, where it was further under the radar. And I think it just speaks to the creativity and the entrepreneurship that folks here across Massachusetts and the country have shown to pushing beer to that next level.
Yeah, Ezra, that's a great idea. That's amazing. Really, congratulations to that. I love that idea. Me personally, I love drinking low ABV beers. Obviously, not non-alcoholic, but the lower the ABV, the more sessionable I can drink them, the better. And I don't know if that's just because my palate is wrecked from drinking so many double IPAs or whatever it might be, But recently this past, I don't know, I want to say I don't know, maybe 2 months ago, we did a 3% beer, and it's been doing pretty well. But that, I tried to push the envelope of a lower ABV beer as low as I could possibly get it, just because I've been starting to see these other breweries starting to push that. I've seen some 2% beers, and it's cool that there's going to be something coming out that's more of a craft, non-alcoholic beer. I think that's such a great idea. So good luck, man. That's great. I look forward to drinking those.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think the industry is definitely seeing a trend as our drinking demographic is growing up, that they're more health conscious. They're definitely more interested in, that's why the folks are gravitating towards seltzers. It's something that the craft beer industry overall is really looking at, and how to grow and evolve with our consumer preferences. So I think that you will not be alone in your endeavors, and you might have a little bit more competition in the coming years, but congratulations to you. And please let me know if I can ever help or be a resource. Does anyone else have any questions for me in this fabulous panel?
You might be off the hook, Katie.
We've covered it all.
Covered it all. Well, I just wanted to throw out a couple things. One of the really neat things, and at one point or another, all three of Ray, Aaron, and Mark mentioned it, that even though, and Katie did too for that matter, even though there is inherent competition, it's amazing to me as a beer drinker when I go into any one of your either your places or I see it in the stores, the collaborations, and it's, if nothing else, it's fun, right? Because now I can sit there and say, well, geez, I already like 2 Weeks Notice, I already like White Lion, and I already like Loophole. Now if I can get a little bit of two of them or three of them in one beer, then it's just got to be magical, I'm guessing. So I really like that, and where that really resonated for this month's community night for us is the collaboration has been, just that phrase has been something that Hope and I have been pounding for the last 10 months since COVID really hit and really changed the way VVM does things. And what we realized after our first virtual community night, after some feedback, was that this kind of format was really exciting. But the only way you can do it is if you collaborate. And so it was really neat to pull it all together. Everybody's been all in, whether it's panelists or mentors, and it's just been a fantastic experience to do a little pivot this way. I noticed Scott was finally able to make it, so I will, in front of him now, thank him and Bulkley Richardson for sponsoring this evening's activities. I know he's looking forward to having beers with everybody as well, as are we, once we're able to get back to normal, whatever that means and whenever that might be. So with that, if there's anyone else who has Hope, I don't know if you've got any closing statements, or if anyone else wants to follow up, I can go on mute and be quiet for a bit.
I don't have any other questions. Sorry. I just wanted to say thank you all so much for being here. To everybody who participated in our panel, thank you, Katie, you did such an excellent job. Rusty for speaking. Scott Foster, thank you. And Bulkley Richardson for sponsoring this event. We're so open to your feedback, so I'll put my email again in the chat, but please feel free to reach out if you'd like to be involved with VVM in any way, or if you'd like to present maybe your business idea at a future community night. But if anybody else has a question or anything.
Thank you, Hope.
Everybody, thank
Thanks,
you.
Hope.
Thank you so much. Enjoy
Thank you.
all of your drinks, non-alcoholic or alcoholic, whatever they may be.
Cheers, everyone. Thank you.
guys.
Cheers.
Thanks
Thanks,
for
Mark.
coming,
Thanks,
everybody.
Aaron.
Good to see you guys.
Appreciate you
Thank you.
Thanks,
care.
everybody.
Appreciate it.
Thanks, Katie.